I'm on a journey to get better, and I want to do it with you. And I'm not just focusing on physical health. I'm focusing on everything: emotional wellness, spirituality, finances, relationships, and so much more. Every week, it will be my personal goal to bring us, the world's leading healers, experts, and game changers, to share groundbreaking secrets and tips to getting better in all areas of life. Getting better isn't easy, but it's a whole lot easier when we can do it together. Welcome to Better Together with me, Maria Menounos. Hello, everybody. It is Wednesday, April 29th. Welcome to Better Together. I need to get better.
Rough day.
Shit-ass day.
Aww.
Let's just call it what it is. I woke up. It was all going to be great. And then caretaking really sucks. It is really friggin' hard. It is really excruciating. It is really emotional. You feel like a monster sometimes when all you're trying to do is help. It's like, if anybody out there is doing it right now, you have to know what I'm talking about. It is a thankless job a lot of times. It is a job you never wanted. And it's a job that maybe you're not good at, like me. I'm good at my things. Like, I've got my window where I'm like, I know where I excel. I can come up with the treatment plans. I can get the best of the best. I can make everything work. Sometimes when your patient doesn't want to listen, when your patient is torturing you and everyone around you, I keep having conversations with my mom. I'm like, Mom, you can't kill your caretakers. Like, I have a caretaker that is here a couple hours a day. She helps do the part that's really hard for us, like, getting her bathed and getting her up and getting her dressed. It's, the most unfun part, and certain other things that have to be done that I definitely don't want to be doing because I've had to do it, and you can't unsee and undo those things. And it's just, hard. And you have a caretaker and she doesn't want them to do anything. She's like, no, I'm going to do it myself. Mom, the point of the caretaker is because you can't do it. So why are you fighting me? Why are you fighting her? Why are you fighting Dad? Please just work with us, not against us.
I think there's just that level of intimacy with, like if I grew up with my brother, I'd be more comfortable with my brother changing me and dressing me than a stranger. And then when she's in, her mental fog of whatever she's experiencing, like, it's probably even more exaggerated.
Yeah, but she has been fine. It's just
It's just random, decides.
It's like, now, no, I'm not comfortable. It's like, well, this person's been bathing you for months. Like, why now not?
So hard. It reminds me, Maria, we had Elizabeth Gilbert on a couple weeks ago, who, of course, is this revered writer, global thought leader in creativity. She opened up very candidly on air about when the love of her life was sick, the person who was best at the caretaking job was her ex.
Mm-hmm.
And, to hear someone who's so self-assured, such an important leader in empathy and love and warmth, say, I might not be great at this job. Just give yourself a little grace. You've got to give yourself some grace in this, because it is objectively the hardest job in the world. She's your mom.
I know. And I end up having to be the tough one because I'm the only one she'll listen to. And everyone in the house says it. They're like, she's scared of you. Like, you're the one she doesn't want to disappoint, basically. So then I have to be the heavy, and it's like, it's not fair. And it's not fun, because then you leave and you feel like a monster because you just had to be like a dictator. And so it is such a roller coaster. I just want to bawl my guts out, but I'm going to hold it together and then possibly drink a lot after this.
No.
I'm possibly going to drink for the rest of the day because it's just so friggin' hard. So, yeah.
Margarita.
What?
So maybe a margarita.
Yeah.
I have one with you.
And then the cycle is so hard because then my dad's like, that's why we want to go home. I don't want you to have to deal with this. And I'm like, I can't think of anything worse.
Yeah.
You're back there. It's still going to be just as hard for me. I'm just not going to have the day to day, but you're going to be calling me with every nightmare. And then you're going to die. Like, I'm going to lose you while you're trying to help her. It's so complicated, guys. Oh my God. Now imagine people who can't even hire a caretaker. imagine what they go through.
It's not easy.
It is horrendous. Like I pray so hard every night, God, please, today she's going in for an MRI. And I was like, please, God, I've really been waiting for her full miracle. And I had always said by April, I know we're going to see 0 on her MRI. We're not going to see any tumor. And I've been waiting for this moment. And now it's like, I feel like such a hypocrite asking God to keep her here. And yet we're so angry and so stressed while she is here. It's a very complicated thing to be in.
Yeah.
Really freaking sucks. And then,
the one thing is, Maria, it's maybe preparing you to be a parent though too. It's like,
it makes me not want to be a parent more.
It
makes me just,
I mean, the truth of the matter is, it takes that saying, it takes a village. It takes a village to raise a child. It takes a village to, keep somebody comfortable towards their later years. That's why it's so important to try to have family and keep your relationships, is because who's going to be there at the end?
Mm-hmm.
And, as much as I know you are spiritual and religious, Maria, like, whatever fog she has now, after she won't have, and she will appreciate, and she will feel that. So it will be worth it.
Yeah. Well, I just, I mean, I remember last week I had those moments where I was like, okay, I'm just going to let go of control and just let her do whatever she wants. And then you see her eating sugar and cheating. And I'm like, Mom, we've had this discussion. If you want to give up, I will buy you all the ice cream in the world. It is your journey. It is your choice. But don't make me do all this work and then you're cheating. Like, let's make a decision one way or another. And so I was like letting go, and life was getting better. Things were feeling much better. And then this morning happened. Anyway, I couldn't not say it because it's like all bubbled up in here. But I'm going to now shift out of this and move along with what we have on deck, because I don't want this to cloud a beautiful episode that we have, where we get to welcome the new face of e-news. And who knows, maybe she's dealt with this in her life. Who the heck knows? But we'll start with our quote of the day from the amazing Michelle Obama. I view myself as being the average woman. While I'm first lady, I wasn't first lady my whole life. I'm a product of pop culture. I'm a consumer of pop culture, and I know what resonates with people. Miss Michelle Obama sounds like she's coming after Lilliana Vazquez's job at E! News. Lilliana, tell me if you think Michelle Obama is after your job.
Whatever Michelle Obama wants, I will happily give it to her. She's my forever first lady. And if she wants to come and take my job for a day, Michelle, you can have it. I would love watching her breaking down like Vanderpump Rules, interviewing celebrities on the carpet. I mean, a girl can only dream, Maria.
Dead. Liliana is actually going to be our special co-host today on the show. And if you don't know, she is, of course, the host of E! News and Pop of the Morning. She became the face of E! recently. How long ago was it now?
This is crazy. It actually wasn't that long ago. We launched January 6th, the day after the Golden Globes. And we are about to hit week 9, I think, in New York of being in quarantine. We were only on the air for 10 weeks when we left Rock Center. So you can imagine what it's like to go through this launch. And you've been through this a million times when you're trying to launch a show.
Yep.
Those first 3 to 6 months, I mean, you are just grinding. And then to come to a total halt, you go, whoa, wait, what do we do now? So I think we're all just transitioning. And, I think I will say this, and I want to go back to what you were saying about being a caretaker, because I actually really, really value what you just said. I think so many of us, for the first time, are having to be caretakers for whether that's a son or a daughter or a family member or a husband or a wife. And having all of those emotions at the same time is something that we're all going through, right? Like my husband had COVID. And for the first time, I think in our relationship, he wasn't like the strong, like I'm going to take care of the stuff in the house kind of guy. And while I'm very take charge in my career, when it comes to our relationship in our home, that's not our dynamic.
Yeah.
And you have all these feelings. And like you said, guilt is one of them, but so is frustration and anger and just like, I don't want to do this anymore. And
Mhm.
for you to say that out loud, I think it's okay that we acknowledge all of those feelings, because if we don't, then they stay in you and they come out while you're actually trying to take care of someone that you love unconditionally. So
Yeah.
thank you for sharing that, because I think, you're dealing with a situation with your mom that has to be one of the most difficult things in the entire world. But as we are all dealing with our family members getting sick, this is something we're dealing with. It's something we're
Yeah.
faced with for the first time. So I appreciate your vulnerability. Thank you for sharing that, because it made me feel a
Thanks.
lot better about some of the feelings I was having towards my poor husband.
How long did he have it for?
He was like out for like a straight week, like in a way that I've never really seen him. My husband is like a triathlete and he climbs mountains, and he's an outdoorsman and he's a surfer. And to see your husband just like laid up in bed, not wanting to do anything is really hard. And so he
Yeah.
was out for like a week straight, and then it took a full another about 7 days for him to feel like he was some version of his former self.
Wow. What were
Yeah.
like at his worst, what was he feeling?
So at his worst, the hardest part for him was the physical aches and the fever. It was, he describes, debilitating. And, this isn't somebody that complains. Like, I know we all joke about like when men get a cold, it's like they just had heart surgery or
Yep,
like
totally.
a the man
Generally
cold.
speaking.
Yeah, just generally speaking. And he's not
Steven's
really
rolling his eyes in the booth. He's like, yep.
Guilty.
He's not your typical man cold kind of guy, but for him, it was the combination of the fever and the achiness. It just knocked him out. Like for him to get up and like go to the bathroom and take a shower felt like it was the hardest thing in the world. And to watch that, I just thought, and he was burning up. I mean, you get really scared. Fevers are not easy to deal with, and they're scary, and you don't know what to do. And we're all the way out east in Montauk, literally at the very end of Long Island. So to get anywhere, if God forbid it spiked, would have been really challenging. And I know that, everyone goes through different versions of COVID, and just to have that here was so scary. And you want to take care of them, but you also can't, you want to share affection. You want to like hug them and console them, but at the same time, you don't want to put yourself at risk either. So it's a really delicate dance. It's really hard. And, people are really stepping up to the challenges that they have at home right now. It's really difficult.
Lilliana, how did you navigate taking care of him without getting it?
So that was the hardest part, because as far as I know, so when we had the test, at the time when he had it, they were only testing people that had really severe symptoms, because at this point, this was back on March 16th, the tests were not as readily available as they were now. And so when he was tested, I asked the doctor if I could take the test. He's like, absolutely not. These are so limited. We're really only testing people that are running really high fevers and that exhibit all of the standard symptoms. So he said, you could have contracted it and you could be asymptomatic, which I think is what happened. So like I say my prayers every single night that if I did have it, I was asymptomatic and God put me there because he needed someone to take care of this incredible man. But for me, it was a lot of gloves. It was really limited contact. I kind of quarantined him to a guest room. And, for that first week, he didn't really want to leave the room anyway. And luckily we have beautiful light in a window. So I would open the screen door in the morning, let the air in. And then, I would wear gloves and like my version of like a hazmat suit to like pull the sheets and wash them in bleach, because that's all you can do. And I remember one night he said he finally felt better. And I remember checking his fever and being like, I still can't kiss you. And I can't hug you because I don't want to get sick, So it's hard, and it's hard on a marriage. We've been married a long time, but it's still really challenging.
How long have you guys been married?
12 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, 12 years. So it's we've been together like 14, maybe 14, I think 14, and married 12. So we're like way into this, but you get to know somebody in a very different way when you are their caretaker. It's a different relationship.
Yeah, it really is. Okay, so wait, so do you guys live in Montauk normally?
No, we live in the city.
Okay.
And so when we got word from our bosses at E that, the show was going to go, we originally heard that it was going to be a 2-week break. I think that's what everybody thought back on March 12th when we kind of started getting the news. And I thought, okay, well, this is 2 weeks to like, go to bed after 7:30 because we have to be in at 4 a.m. every day. So I go to bed between 7:30 and 8 every single night. And I was like, okay, 2 weeks, I can think about like segments and get creative. I think one of the things I admire so much about you is that you're such a doer and you're such a builder, and you can take something and take an idea and ideate and turn it into something really special and really big. And I love doing that. But when you're in a day-to-day show and 2 shows a day, your brain doesn't have the space to do that. So I thought, okay, we're going to take this time. We're going to go to our beach house out here in Montauk and just kind of like take these 2 weeks and reflect and get better and go back in 2 weeks. Well, I haven't been home since March 12th. So we've been living out here, and, you know, I can't complain. It's wonderful to have the beach down the street, and I love going on hikes and being outdoors. But at the same time, like, I do miss my home. Like, I'm not, you know, this is our house, but it's not where we spend most of our time. So it's been an adjustment.
So I love Montauk, especially because I was a huge fan of The Affair, and I went to the what's it called, the place, the seafood place there.
Oh, the one. Yes. Okay. Yeah, I know, the red, blue, and white one.
Yeah. Damn.
It's
Why
in the
can't I
opening of
remember
the
it?
show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember going there. The lobster roll. Was it
The lobster roll.
Was that what it's called?
Yeah, the lobster roll.
I think so. Yeah. And I got a lobster roll, and it was delicious. But I love it there. It's so pretty.
It's so pretty. It's so quiet. You know, I always call it like the anti-Hamptons, because this is like a working class fishing town. Like, that is what people do here. That is the economy here. Like, people live here year round, and that is what they do. And it's simple and it's easy. And like, you don't have to get dressed up to go to dinner. Like, it's just really casual. It's like, it's very chill. And I love it, because any excuse to like not wear makeup and not do my hair and like go outside in sweats and slippers, like, I'm here for it.
I love it. I love it. So you started this year on E! News. It's like your dream moment, right?
Yes.
Dream
Yes.
job, because before this you were a style expert, and you were doing like correspondent work on different shows, right? You were roving around, and now you had this like steady, you know, major position, and now poof, it's kind of gone in a sense. So how do you feel about that? How are you? I mean, you're still doing E! News in the morning, from your house, but this is not the E! News that you signed up for.
No, let's be very honest. This is not what I imagined my role on E! News would be. I definitely thought like, oh my God, I'm going to have hair and makeup every day.
Yes.
There's going to be wardrobe. We're going to be in this beautiful studio, and like in an iconic studio in 30 Rock. Like, this is what I busted my ass for the last decade, right? Like, you work so hard to get there. And then when you get there, you're like, you have it, and you have it for 10 weeks. And then somebody takes away your like shiny new toy, and you're like, wait, this cannot be happening to me. But I think it's one of those things where, you know, like, I always tell people, like, if you start every single day with gratitude, what you have right in front of you is always enough. You know, like, that's where I come from. And, you know, I have worked so hard to get here, and nobody took it away. It's just different now. And it's about embracing what is unique about this being different. This plays to my strengths as a creator and a producer, because I can pitch a concept or a segment, and maybe I wouldn't have been able to get it on E! News or Pop of the Morning, you know, in our kind of incubation stage, because we were really regimented in sticking to the program and the rundown. Well, now I can be like, hey, I really, really think we should do an interview with the kids from Outer Banks before the show even launched. I was like, I'm so excited for the show because I'm such a fan of teen dramas. I have like the TV taste of like a 16-year-old, which is fine. I don't have a problem with it. And, you know, you can do that stuff. Whereas before they were like, well, they're not coming to New York. We can't get them till this. So I have to really start every day and just say, you know what, I'm grateful that I even have the opportunity to like attach my name to such a storied brand in entertainment news. And what I'm going to do now is like ride this out with them and really commit wholeheartedly and show them that like, yes, I can host this show, but I can also contribute in other ways. And a lot of times, and you know this, Maria, you get stuck in a box. Like, people put you in a box. It is so much easier to define people with limits than to look at people and ask, what else can they do?
Yep.
And for so many years in my career, you know, I started as a style expert, and I was always just like, oh, but you're just that fashion girl. And that is a part of me, but that's not all of me. And to be defined by something like that was so frustrating for so long. And I was like, you know what, like, this is my time to like show people that I can do so much more than that. So I think for me, it's been an adventure, and it's actually been a really welcome one. It's been really exciting. And I have to say thank you to like the people that are above me that get to say yes to all my crazy ideas. I'm like, can we do a show on TikTok? They're like, are you too old for TikTok? I'm like, never.
Stop
Never.
it. They said that to you?
I definitely got some eye rolls because I feel like, when I first thought about TikTok, I don't know if you thought, I thought it was for like 13-year-olds.
I didn't know anything other than TikTok equal dancing. And so, you know, and I was like, oh God, another social platform. Oh,
Right.
this is so annoying. But then when I saw it, I got so into it because it just was pure fun.
Yeah.
And now I'm seeing things like this one girl yesterday, I saw her, she was like, you know, in this quarantine time, like, why throw your romaine lettuce head away? Like, chop off the bottom part and replant it. And I was like, hello. And she did it in TikTok. So you chop off the part of the romaine lettuce you don't eat, like that, like stem
that
part.
The white part?
Yeah. And then you shave off the brown part of it, right? You just like cut off that little bit. You put it in a little cup of water and then you plant it. And then boom, in a couple of days, more lettuce grew. And you're like, holy shit. I learned this on TikTok. So I put it on my stories. If you look on my Insta stories, you'll see it.
I have to watch this.
Yeah.
But this is what I'm saying. It's like, you learn so many, like I was so scared to tie-dye because I thought I was going to do it wrong. And then I found a TikTok of this girl using this tie-dye spray and it broke it down in less than 60 seconds, which is about all the time I have to like watch something on TikTok.
Totally.
And I'm like, I can do that. It just, somebody was painting their front door the other day, my friend Preston, and I was like, well, I want to paint my front door. Like I can do this.
Yeah.
And it really is. And people are so creative.
So
I think
creative.
I underestimated how creative people are with editing and with shooting and with script. It's amazing. I live for TikTok. Like I am so here for TikTok. And like, by the way, anybody like listening or watching, there is not an age limit to TikTok.
Nope.
You can be as old as you want to be. You can be as young as your parents will let you be. But I love it. And especially during this quarantine, I mean, I find myself spending like an hour just scrolling through and watching videos, like even the fashion inspo videos. Like I think back to like the way we used to do segments on the Today Show when I was there as a style expert. I'm like, that's so antiquated now.
Totally.
Like, right? It just changes the thought process and how you think of delivering information. It's just very, very cool. I'm so here for it.
Did you see, I think it was on yours. I was like doing all my research on you. And I think, were you the one talking about the pillow dress? I think
I haven't done the pillow dress, but I built a glam bot.
What do you mean?
Like, you know, the glam bot on the carpet?
Yeah.
Okay. So what makes that so cool is that it's a slow motion shot that pushes into you like this, right?
Yeah.
So it's effectively a swinging mechanism. It's a very expensive camera on a swinging mechanism,
like a jib,
in slow motion, right? So I watched TikTok and I saw somebody say, oh, well, like, here's how you build your own glam bot. So I turned 40 on April 12th and I thought, well, if there's one thing I want for my 40th birthday, it's my own glam bot.
Stop
he
it.
was not going to ship it to me, obviously. And so I watched the TikTok video and I'm pretty handy and creative. And my husband had these like weird, they're called ratchet straps. You use them to attach like furniture to your car if you're moving. And so he's like, oh, you could totally hang this from our second floor and create a cradle for your phone and swing your phone. And then just use ring lights to create that lit effect. I'm telling you, I'm going to send you the video because I want to see you do this because I feel like you'd kill this.
I can't wait.
And then I put on like my best birthday outfit, like a bold lip, and I like turned on a song and I like did my own like slow-mo glam bot.
I love it. So because everyone's gone, Steven, you can hit the little key button and go out there to just make sure my dad knows. Sorry, we're like, you know, the gate's ringing and my Kevin and everyone's at the hospital with my mom. So
I was going to say, so this is in your house, right?
Yeah, this is my home studio.
It's amazing. You were ahead of the curve, by the way. Everyone else right now is trying to build out their home studio and you've already had it all for years.
I know. It's funny. We, I think we built it like 5 years ago. Kevin came we were renovating the house and he was like, one day I came home from work and the garage was like completely gutted. And I go, what are you doing? And he's like, we're building a studio. This is your future. And I'm like, what? You psycho? This is generally when Kevin has an idea, he's so far ahead. I'm like, you psycho, yeah. What are you talking about? And so, yeah, I mean, after surgery and stuff, this was the only way I could like kind of get back to it slowly without having to commute and stuff. And so, yeah, I laughed because everyone's been like broadcasting off like a set of books. And I'm like Ryan Seacrest, books? You don't have a studio, Ryan? Hello?
It's Ryan. Like I saw him the other night doing like American Idol and his prompter was like way higher than his camera. And I was like, wait, how did they not have a prompter with a camera behind the glass for him. Like, he's Ryan Seacrest.
Yeah. It's so funny. It's so funny to see kind of everybody just like, trying to make do of everything. But yeah, I've had this and I've been able to, comfortably I did a satellite media tour from here yesterday for the Beverly Hills Dog Show, and I had the logo in the background. It was so easy.
Maria, you were like I said, I mean, thank God you were like 5 years ahead of this at-home studio broadcast, because this is probably where I'm going to be for the next few months.
I think for sure. How about the CEO of Barclays, the bank, said, I don't see a future where 7,000 people are in the same building again. And I was like, I got the chills this morning.
I literally.
Thinking about how this is all going to change. So I wonder, being a part of E! News, what is the conversation like in terms of where this is going to go and how is entertainment going to shift at this point?
Well, I think that's one of the questions that I have. I mean, I ask that question every day. And, I think we all work with so many different people that touch on entertainment news and broadcast and, digital and video. And it has to change, right? Like, one thing I know we're doing is we're broadcasting some of our shows at night. Like, Nightly Pop is back on the air 2 nights a week. Daily Pop will start going every day for 30 minutes. They're all in their own homes. And E! News and Pop of the Morning are going back later than that. But I think the real issue is when you cover entertainment news and there's no entertainment, what are we covering? Because at this point, we're covering everyone's Instagram feeds and their Twitter feeds. And, we're covering the late night shows because they're broadcasting from home. But, when you really start to see the impact of all of these movie sets being shut down and all of these production companies having to stop down, what happens to premieres? What happens to junkets? What happens to the flow of entertainment in this world when your business is covering entertainment news? So we really have to pivot. And I will say that's one of the things that you're really seeing some people do very well is like they're really pivoting how they cover, what they cover, and what goes into that show. So I think that's what we're being challenged with right now is to say, if this is going to slow down, because I mean, they're even talking about not being able to do Tony nominations this year because the window to enter was so small because they shut down Broadway right after we left. And so as that entertainment window gets smaller and smaller, what does it mean for awards season? Does that exist in 2021? Because there's not going to be enough eligible movies.
Oh my God, I never thought about that.
Yeah, I mean, it's a really interesting when you start to.
I just got the chills.
I know. It's like, and for somebody like me, like I am an entertainment junkie. Like I live for this stuff. I remember watching, Kim Kardashian stories. They're self-filming at home because they're in the middle of their season right now. Like, what is that gonna look like? I also think being like I tend to like always want to focus on the positive. It's an incredible space to create, right? And you're going to see some really amazing things come out of this. And I hope that like, my team at E! is kind of like right on the forefront of that, where we're building something that's different and we're giving a new spin and a new angle and a new ethos to what entertainment news really looks like nowadays. So we will see. But I mean, I'm just as shocked as you are. I mean, we are in 30 Rock. I mean, you've been in there a million times. You know how dense that building is. You know how many people go through that lobby every single day. The idea that we would have to ride the elevators, because our elevators are not 6 feet by 6 feet. The idea that you'd have to go up 1 or 2 at a time.
Oh, forget it. There's no way.
How are we going to, 30 Rock is like 80 floors.
Yeah.
How are you going to service that building?
Yeah.
It's like, it's impossible. It's crazy.
It really is so bananas to think about it all, and how it's all going to change. I feel like, there'll be amazing innovation and, but definitely in the entertainment news space, it's going to shift for a while because there is going to be a lack of content. I think what's going to continue is stuff like this, like cheap live programming, the American Idols who are doing it digitally from their homes. Has anyone watched that, by the way?
I haven't seen it. I only saw Ryan's like reads at the very beginning.
Got it. I saw one little clip, and it seemed to work. And I think World of Dance is coming back.
How is that going to happen? Because most of those dancers compete in crews.
I have no idea because I
think
saw...
it was pre-taped is what from my understanding, I think it was pre-taped.
That makes sense.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
The
crazy one though I heard about was, did you guys hear about The Bachelorette? What the plan is for that right now?
No, tell us.
So Jeff is our resident Bachelor expert at AfterBuzz. And so Jeff, go for it. Tell us everything.
Well, from what I've heard, and again, this is all, I'd like to say I'm on the pulse of like Bachelor news. I love it. It's my like guilty pleasure, like reality TV heroine. But what they're saying right now is, Claire Crawley was the new Bachelorette who was supposed to be filming right now with 30 new male suitors. So I've heard what they're going to do is get a resort, presumably in like Mexico or somewhere super remote, and quarantine everyone there for a month and just let them live there, not film anything, just let them all exist.
Yes, I'm into
And
that. I'll go be
then,
on the show if that's
I
the
know. I was like,
case.
Maria, do they need a co-host?
but then they're
Hello.
going to film the season just on site at the resort, because if the whole crew is there, all the producers, all the above the line talent, and the suitors, in theory, no one will have it because they all will have lived there.
Wow.
Right. But can you imagine, like, I mean, wow, that's crazy. They're going to have to sign their lives away, literally sign their lives away, because God forbid something happen. Like
You're on an island. Like, say there's other people there. What if like people sneak out and go hook up with somebody, and then like non-cast wise, like the crew, and then guys, this is so crazy.
This is, I'm telling you, we're living in weird time. This is just the beginning. People are going to have to find creative solutions, because you can't you cannot completely stop production. You can slow it down, you can rethink it and reconfigure, but you can't just stop. I mean, that's how these networks survive. You think of The Bachelor, you think of Dancing with the Stars. I mean, these shows are the bread and butter of these networks. They can't just go away, because if they go away, the ad dollars go away, and then
everything goes away.
Go away. Like, what are we going to do?
So I had this moment yesterday. It was 4 a.m. and I was outside of my front steps just having breakfast. I made myself like I made a bacon, egg, and cheese sandwich and a latte, and I had a fresh squeezed orange juice. And I was sitting there in complete silence, just me and the birds and whatever other little creepy crawlers were out there. And it started, every time I wanted to grab my phone and like check Twitter or whatever, I stopped and I said, no. You will have 30 minutes without anything. Just sit here. And then I don't know if it's like the empathic stuff that I haven't really been tuning into, because I've, for whatever reason, but having complete stillness, it started nailing me in the chest so hard yesterday that there are no planes in the skies. There's nothing going on in this whole world. The whole world is shut down. Holy shit. And it was like, it was the most surreal thing. And just that like, oh my God, how do we recover from this? Like I called AJ Gupta yesterday. We were doing voice text. AJ Gupta's incredible financial advisor. And we were talking about some stuff we're doing. And at the end I said, hey, by the way, had this morning thing happen to me. Are we all going to be okay?
Right.
I go, you keep talking about like, oh, it's going to be painful for a while, like 2008. I go, this is not 2008. This is 2008 times a jillion.
Yeah, no, this is 2008, I get it. Like financially, that was like one sector that was heavily, it's like the entire world has come to a slow stop.
Yeah. Bananas.
It is. It
Bananas.
is.
But
I do think it's important to sit still a little bit. I find myself kind of always having another activity to move to, because if I sit still too long, then I think I'm going to be in a situation like you where it just hits and you go, oh God, deep breaths. So I'm always like, what else can I tie dye? What else is there another closet that needs to be organized? How many times can I do the dishes? Like, should I polish my silver? I don't know. Things that I never thought I would want to do. I'm just trying to fill time, because I think to sit with the gravity and the intensity and the enormity of what's happening is like a lot. It's a lot.
Yeah.
Like my anxiety starts to it's happening right now.
Damn. Okay, well, let's switch subjects, because soon we're going to be bringing in our other guest, Perez Hilton, who I thought would be really great for you guys to know each other as well. But I have to say, as I was creeping all over social media and stuff, checking you out and like doing my research like a good journalist, I first of all wanted to say I love your fashion.
Thank you.
I think that you are carrying on the E! News host fashion very well.
Oh my gosh, that means you're so sweet. Thank you.
I especially loved that
big steps.
That like green and white number that you had with like the white underneath. It was like so freaking cute. I'm like, I want that. Anyway, so
Zara.
And then you and your co-host's name is Scott, right?
Yeah, Scott Tweedie. Yeah.
Okay. The two of you are adorable together. I feel like the new regime did such a great job in choosing you guys. And I also feel like the new regime is maybe doing a really great job at promoting you guys. Like I saw some videos of you where they were really touting all the things that you are doing that are entrepreneurial. And there was a time at E! News, not my time, where that wasn't as encouraged. And I think that you miss a big opportunity because, they're really building you and they're really being complimentary of all of the facets that make up Lilliana. And I'm sure you can speak to it better, but that was my feeling when I watched.
No, and it's so wonderful to hear you say that. And I think that's so important. I think really embracing, it's what I said, before. It's like people aren't one dimensional, right?
Mhm.
And if they are one dimensional, you're not really going to connect with someone that is just this or that. Like we're multifaceted human beings and we want to connect on different levels. And I think, to give people entry into all of the things that make you you allows them to really connect. And I think that's what's so cool about what's happening at E! Now. They're saying, okay, yes, she's our host, but like, look at all of these other things that she does. Like, I came to E! News as an entrepreneur, as a first generation proud Latinx woman. And those are a huge part of who I am. And you see that come through when I'm delivering, whatever's in the prompter or we have an interview, like that part comes out and they're encouraging that because I think it's amazing that after all of this time, we finally have like you're first generation as
Mhm.
well, like to have a Latinx woman co-hosting E! News is so important in so many ways. It has nothing to do with me. It has everything to do with the fact that every other Latinx little girl and little boy can look at the television and say,
Mhm.
oh, she's got two Z's in her last name like mine. I'm Martinez or I'm Gomez. And like, oh, wow, she's actually hosting that show. Like, I can do that.
Yep.
And I think it's so important. And they really have let me lean into that. They haven't said, okay, we'd rather you be more this, or like, we don't want to share that part of you, or like, let's play this down. They're kind of like, give us more to work with and we will put it out there because what you want is to capture a big, wide audience. And there's different parts of me that are connect with different people. Like somebody that likes me for fashion might be like, okay, well, I don't like cooking, but I know Lilliana likes to cook, but I know I can connect with her about this. And, there's also people that aren't going to like my fashion. They're like, well, I hate her fashion, but I really love the way she talks about housewives.
Mhm.
So I have to say that is really something that attracted me to this position and attracted me to this group of people that have really kind of honed into, I think, what viewers want now from somebody on their television. They're letting you into their homes every single day.
Now, legit,
Literally.
reverse. You
Parking
guys
them
are
on
letting them
top.
into your homes, which
Yeah,
is a whole
so
new level.
yeah, but it's amazing to hear you see that and recognize that. And yeah, it hasn't always been that way. And I think you and I have been in this business long enough to know that there was a time where you really just had to be like this or that, and you had to
Yep.
look like this or that. And if you didn't, that's okay. They could find somebody else that would be like flat and 1D. And you're like, okay, cool. I'm going to get passed over because I'm too much of this. So it's really nice to see that shift happening in our industry. And I hope it continues because people aren't like that. That's not,
Yeah.
like we're just not like that. We've got lots of things about us. Like I was, an entrepreneur long before I was ever a host on television.
Yeah,
So,
the problem is they don't want you to be generally. And that's
yes.
where things are very challenging,
Mhm.
especially when that's who you are and who you've been.
Yeah.
And so that's why I think that clearly this regime is very secure with
Mhm.
themselves because that's what happens is you can easily intimidate people with your
Right.
entrepreneurialism and
Yeah.
all of that. And so I give them a lot of credit because I was really happy to see that. I mean, I built an entire network dedicated to fostering and growing and supporting talent because I was so unsupported along the way in different
Mhm.
moments where people want to pigeonhole you or hold you down or talent wants to be nasty to you and I just don't understand why. Like I'm so excited for you. I was always excited for everyone and
Yeah.
always wanting to help everybody. People just get freaked out by that stuff. So
They do, I think it's people. My husband told me this like a long time ago. He's like, no matter what the opportunity is, whether it's in business or fashion or television, you always have to come from abundance. You cannot come from a place of scarcity, right? You've got to come from a place where there is so much more to give and there's enough for everyone. Like my mom believes this firmly, like what God has given to me is given to me. right? That's mine. What you're like, it's not for somebody else to steal or take from me. It's like, you can't think that way. And we often do because this business is so competitive. You know, I mean, it's so competitive. And for so long, we've competed with each other instead of really like built up with each other, right? Because we're just like so much better. Like me doing this with you, you coming on the show, like the more collaboration we have, the better together everybody is. Literally, you built an entire show about this.
It's called Better Together for a reason, people. And that's what I would teach our hosts. We've been around for a decade, and I remember from the very beginning with our first host, I used to say to everybody, stop competing with each other. That is such a small-minded way to be. I said, support each other and know that you all bring something different to the table, like your mom said. Yeah. I'm different than you, Lilliana. You're different than me. We bring totally different things to the table. So why not work with each other? When I'm up, you might be down, I can help you. When you're up, I might be down, you help me. And what we've watched with the circle of hosts that we have, it's exactly what's happened. Everyone has helped lift each other, suggest other people for jobs. If they're looking for a certain thing, oh my God, we have the perfect person for that. And that's how it should be. It should be a collaboration. And that's really, I'm really happy that that's how it's going for you there. And before we move on to Perez, we have to talk 90 Day Fiancé for a minute.
Oh my God. I mean, that's my heart. You have no idea.
How long have you been watching? I want to know how long it's been your heart.
Oh my God, 4 years?
Okay, good. Okay, it's been years. I can't count how many years it's been, but I just know, I will tell you, let's play one up who's the biggest fan.
Okay.
I went on my honeymoon to Italy. We were in Rome. I got advance screeners from TLC. No, we would go to dinner on our honeymoon, race home early to watch 90 Day Fiancé over a bottle of champagne. It was us and Darcy and Jesse.
Oh, Darcy and I mean, I live for Darcy. I'm trying to get her on an IG live because I just need it to happen.
Yeah,
like,
I actually just reached out to her yesterday. How funny!
Did you?
So once I get her, I will pass her on to you if she's,
oh my gosh, you're so sweet.
Willing to do press. Yeah.
And I also want her sister too. Like I would take them together because the Silva twins are like a whole nother animal. Like I can't.
She is everything. She's everything. And now Big Ed is my new Darcy.
Oh my God.
Big Ed is everything.
Okay. You love Big Ed?
No, it's Big Ed is brilliant television. Okay. I mean, do I like that he's publicly embarrassing this poor girl by saying she has bad breath on camera? I don't know how it works if they really don't have a moment, but like, come on, dude. Like, do you have to like tell everyone she's a hairy monster on camera? Like, it was
so I
awful.
Started as like I was a big Ed fan, like from the beginning, like, and then as he started talking to her that way and sharing, I was like, there's another way to communicate that. And maybe I know why he's been single for so long now. Maybe it has to do with that. I mean, it's it was hard. Those were some hard moments to watch. I mean, not that this show is not filled with hard moments to watch. That is why we watch it. It is like multiple train wrecks all happening at once under the umbrella of love. I mean, this is one of the best reality shows, I think, that has ever existed. And I don't say that lightly because I live for reality television.
I'm telling you right now, I check Evolved Maria Menounos. I check myself at the door and I go in and I watch like Medford Maria Menounos. And my commentary, if it was ever published, would be probably the downfall of my life. But it's it's so fun to be a voyeur, just to watch that like without any morals or class and just die. Like it's the best.
You're so right. You really do have to check whatever part of you thinks you're like smart, intelligent. Like you just got to leave that over there and you just come into it and just enjoy and like really just immerse yourself in the world of 90 Day Fiancé where there are no rules. I mean, you just get to be like the worst, best version of yourself. And I have to tell you, I welcome those like 4 hours on Sunday nights. Like I live for that block.
Lilliana, I can't wait for Sunday to come. Like I'm like this, like, please, I need it now. I need it now. And so I will also give TLC credit, not only for their brilliant producing, whoever's producing that show, production company wise, their reunions, they completely redid how reunions are done now. Like breaking that fourth wall was like the best thing ever. So, okay.
Yeah.
I had to get that out because Perez, I hear, is not a TV fan. Like he doesn't watch anything. I don't know how that works, but we'll get into that with him. Of
Okay.
course, if you don't know who Perez Hilton is, he is a 3-time best-selling author, blogger, and a journalist who's generally credited as one of the major forces behind pop culture conversations going digital. Ladies and gents, Perez Hilton
here we go.
is in the house, in his house, but now he's like part of our houses too. He doesn't watch anything. I don't know how that works. Wait, why is there a delay on our show?
He's hearing the video, the YouTube video he's watching on YouTube.
Oh, I was watching the YouTube video. Let me get out of there.
That's funny. He was watching us while we brought him in.
Got it. Okay, so now once he shuts that down, we should be able to. He's very
Shut it down.
pixelated. Hi.
Hello. I have not seen 90 Day Fiancé, but I have seen clips from it. I had seen the clip of that guy giving the poor girl, was it mouthwash and and toothpaste?
Yes.
I've also seen that guy's already a star. People are buying videos from him. He's on one of those paid sites or apps that let you sell yourself for 60 seconds.
Oh, Cameo.
People are loving that dude.
Cameo.
Yes.
No, they just reached out to me. They're like, can we do something? And I was like, I don't know if I have the time to really devote to this, but I'm like, I'll try. They're like for Mother's Day. And I was like, you know what? There could be some cool Mother's Day things for like people who are caretaking and stuff. I was thinking, I'm like, we'll try it. But yeah, I mean, Big Ed, he is very, very popular now.
The thing I don't love about that show or The Bachelor that I could never get into is that it's obviously fake, right? It's not real.
No, it's real.
So if you watch, you think The Bachelor is still real?
No, The Bachelor's definitely not real.
It's
90
definitely
Day
not
Fiancé
real.
is as real as it gets.
90 Day Fiancé, 1,000,000,000% is totally
It's
real. And while I have the throne for a second, Perez, I don't know if you've met Lilliana Vazquez from E! News, but I wanted to make sure you guys have had the proper introduction. So there you guys go.
Perez, I have to tell you, when I first moved to New York in 2002 and I was unemployed, I would literally sit at my computer. I had an old school Dell, and I would just keep refreshing your website over and over for like the latest gossip, like literally all day long. I would just like, oh, did he update? Did he update? So I'm such a fan.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I'm a dinosaur. I've been around since, decades now, but I'm so thankful that I'm still here and doing different things and evolving. And, you've got to keep reinventing yourself. And Maria's done a great job of doing that as well. One of the ways I've reinvented recently, some might think not that successfully, is by having a lot of fun on TikTok. Are you guys on TikTok?
Yes.
Yes.
I'm a boomer, as they say. I'm probably too old for TikTok, but I love it. I love it. It makes me happy. And, you can really go viral on there in a way that you can't in any other platform.
I love it. Well, we were talking about being obsessed with TikTok and that we don't feel like we're too old for it. So you're not too old for it. It's funny. I saw on Twitter, I think it was today, Kathy Griffin, I think it was, had posted something where it's like, can we go back to the more innocent days? And it was a picture of like Lindsay Lohan and Britney Spears and one of the other ones from that time. And
Brittany, Lindsay, and Paris.
Yeah, Paris. Yeah. And I was like, oh my God, like that was the beginning of our careers.
2007, I remember that photo vividly. 2007 was the golden year for celebrity news because you had all of these, I like to call it the year of the girl gone wild. It was all of them getting arrested, being photographed, getting out of the car without underwear on, which they were doing on purpose, okay? Totally. They were absolutely doing it on purpose. They were going to rehab, all of these things. And there's never been a year quite like that since, because now the new celebrities saw those from them and don't want to behave the same way.
Okay.
Hey, Perez, can you repeat that?
Or whatever it is.
Sorry, you broke up.
The ones that are behaving badly now are the YouTubers or the TikTok stars or the Instagram celebrities that maybe the mainstream don't care about as much. But you know what? I am probably in the minority here. I want to thank God and am so grateful for the Kardashian Jenner family because 10 plus years later, there's so many of us and they still give us things to talk about.
I mean, it is
We need
really,
them.
I know it's really interesting to think back to the early days. Like I remember being on Kitson with Lindsay Lohan at this event with a friend of mine. Like I remember being like I was with them, but I wasn't like, like I would be with them socially, but I was never like in the clique or anything. But it was like a peripheral thing where I was always invited to the dinner or whatever. And it's so surreal to just see, that kind of that time in your life. It's bananas.
Well, back when we were young and would go out and just, I sort of miss those days, but I'm happy now being a stressed and anxiety ridden father of three who is pulling his hair out because I have three young children under the age of 8 at home right now. And they were like hovering around and I was kind of giving them the evil eye, like, can't away here right now live without speaking to them. But I love it.
Oh my God. Wait,
I'm writing a
Liliana, you don't
book.
have kids yet, right?
No, no children yet. Like I can barely keep like a house plant, so I'm gonna wait a little bit longer. We're not quite there yet.
Got it. But so you are thinking of it or no?
Oh my gosh, no, we are definitely thinking about it. I mean, listen, like I just turned 40, so like everybody. I think people stopped asking us like 5 years ago because
Yeah.
we'd already been married for so long, and so that's kind of nice because now we've moved into the they're just those people that don't want children phase. We desperately do. It's just it hasn't happened, and we want it to happen, but especially now, I'm like, oh my gosh, what would you even do? Like if you were pregnant or going through IVF right now, like you can't do anything.
Yeah. But do you
So
worry?
yeah,
I have to ask, like, do you worry about age? Because they make us feel like
100%.
after 35, we're like infertile for life.
We're a geriatric pregnancy.
Yeah. Do you
Like,
worry?
would you ever think that you would be classified as geriatric at 37? Like, no. Oh yeah, I think about it all the time. And I very much am like, I know that for me to have a child, it's not going to happen in the way that I probably always thought it would, right? Like to me, that's one of the beauties of where we live now and the modern advances we have in science, that age doesn't limit me in that way. At the end of the day, like Patrick and I are going to be parents, right? Like that's a decision that we've made with each other together. That is a foundation of our relationship. And however we become parents doesn't really matter, right? Because it's
Yeah.
not about like how you have a baby. It's about what you do when you have that child. So for us, it's like as soon as we get to a place where we really feel like it's the right time, like we're going to do that because we are going to be parents. And if it doesn't happen in like the conventional way, that's completely fine with me, but I want to feel like I'm in a place career wise. For me, that's what I've been waiting for. Like, that's why this was such a big year.
It's so hard to hear that though, because that's like our problem. We're waiting to live our lives because of our careers. And
I know.
So
Well,
I remember I was at E when I was like, oh, I got to start doing IVF and like locking some kids up in the freezer. So when I'm ready, and
right.
and it's hard. So it's like, if you want your own, you have to do IVF early enough so that you don't have issues later trying to find that like random egg that's still left in there.
That one, I always say there's like a golden egg in a gumball machine, right? You just got to keep turning, just keep putting in quarters and turning the crank and pray that a golden egg drops one cycle. And it may never, and that's okay because at the end of the day, like I said, like we're committed to being parents and it's going to happen. It's 100% going to happen. But I do think there is something to be said for women that are really career oriented and career driven. We're like, once I get to this milestone, then I'll be ready.
Trust me.
But then you get to the milestone and you're like, wait, but then there's another one.
But so then I have to be really awesome right now so they still like me. Like it's so friggin' complicated and obnoxious. I'm going to tell you.
It's like a mind fuck of all mind fucks.
I'm going to tell you right now, it all works out. Yeah. Right? If I look back now, I'm like, God, I could have had like a little adults right now. But I was so scared to do that back then. Steven, what are you laughing about?
Because you have all your afterbuzzers. You have all your little
I know.
adults.
Oh,
Ten-
that's true.
10 years later, Maria.
I know. But yeah, I would beg you as your elder to
Oh my God, hardly.
You're in probably 10 months elder because my brother's in April, so I know exactly what that looks like. I would beg you to go for it, especially now when there's time. So
There's a lot of time.
Yeah.
There's a lot of time to do stuff that you didn't get to do a lot of before.
Exactly. So there's that, and you have a role model in Perez because he's adopted. And I didn't realize you had more than one. Last time I saw you, you had one. When did you end up with 3?
Well, they're very evenly spaced apart. They're each about 2 years and a few months apart. And I went through the surrogacy process, so they're biologically mine.
Oh, no way. I didn't know that.
That's amazing.
In many ways, it's a lot like, my trajectory was that of Lilliana or yours, of a woman. Like, I had to be prepared for my career suffering when I decided to have children because I was doing it by myself. So I wasn't going to be able to continue to work as hard as I was before kids. Or so I thought. Now
so
I
you
just
thought.
sleep
So
less.
now tell us the truth. How did you balance it, and did it take away from your work?
It didn't take away from my work. It took away from my sleep. Like, I honestly only get about 4 hours of sleep a night, which is not a lot.
Yeah.
I drink about a cup of coffee every 2 hours. I'm fueled by caffeine. And I love it, though, because I still love what I do all these years later.
I just know that I used to do the same thing, and after a life-altering moment, you're like, why the frig was I stopping my personal life because I was afraid of executives? I was afraid of what they were going to do or not going to do, or how they were going to look at me, and and everything. And I did also fear that I would like it too much and I wouldn't want to work.
I think about that all the time. I'm always kind of like, oh my goodness, like, am I going to be a different person? And of course you're going to be different. You're different. Your heart, your entire body changes when you become a parent, I think. And like, am I going to be the same person that was so committed to work? But I think I will, because I care so much and I'm so passionate about my work. It doesn't feel like work for me, And I think that's the difference. I think when you're so invested in it and it's a part of you, like, it is a part of me.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm just going to grow the amount of time and love that I have and give it to this little person.
I love it. Well, Perez, if you can hear me, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, great. So you would have stopped if this was a nightmare that like really was not easy, and you went on for 3. So you have insight that we really need.
I did stop, though. There was a point in time when I wanted to have 4. Thank God I listened to my mother and only had 3, because I truly think I would have had a full-on nervous breakdown right now during this pandemic if I had 4 children by myself.
Oh my God.
But to touch on something that you said, I think I can only speak for myself, but for my entire career, I let fear fuel me. And fear got me very far. Being afraid of this, being afraid of that pushed me to work harder. But there comes a point where fear doesn't work for you anymore, and it actually becomes a crutch. So I've moved past fear, but now I'm just at a point of just anxiety. That's one thing people don't talk about. I didn't have anxiety before children. Now I have real and clinical anxiety, which I manage not through medication, but before all of this, I was dealing with it with a lot of exercise. I would go to the gym 7 days a week, and now I'm just walking, and I really miss the gym. But I'm a happy person with anxiety because I love being a father, and I get so much pleasure out of it every day, as well as like wanting to cry because my kids are literally drawing all over my furniture or hiding the remote control, and they don't know where they put it. And I had to put gloves on the other day to rummage through my garbage because they said it was in the garbage. I'm like, are you serious? Thankfully, I had cameras inside my house. So I eventually just looked at the security footage and found where it was. But every day is like an adventure.
That's so funny. Well, um, I didn't see that conversation happening, and I'm so glad we just had it
I know.
because what does it make you think now, Liliana?
It makes me scared shitless.
See, I thought it was going to have the reverse effect, but because listen, when you do it, even if you do it in 5 years, right? It's not going to be any different. You're going to be more sleep deprived and,
I'm going to be older, which means I'm going to be slower
Yep.
and more tired.
Yeah, so let's get this going.
Let's get busy, babe.
Meanwhile, you know what's so crazy is like I thought after I slowed life down that we would naturally get pregnant. And it never happened. Like it just, my body, God is just like, nope, nope, nope. And I know, there are reasons for that. I can sense, but yeah, I thought, I mean, we've tried for like a decade, even though I was scared. And I think maybe I was blocking a lot of the energy because I was so scared. But
I think that's what people have said to me. They're like, but you haven't been not trying. And I'm like, no, but I do think you're right. I think you don't realize you can create those blocks
Totally.
in your energy and your hormones and just your mental well-being can block. It's a miracle when it happens for a woman.
Yeah.
It really is. I know it doesn't feel like, because sometimes it's like everyone's pregnant and it feels like it's magically happening for everyone, at least when it's not happening for you.
Yeah.
But I do think you create those blocks, whether it's about pregnancy or healing, whatever it is, you kind of stop your body from doing it because of the fear or because you're scared or because you've created all these scenarios. And I think even when that's why everyone says when you let go and you stop trying, like my friends that have gone through IVF, 10 rounds for the last 7 years, they stopped because they're like, you know what, it's not going to happen. And then what happens?
They got pregnant,
pregnant.
Naturally. I know. It's wild because then when I was like, okay, I'm not blocking it, it still wasn't happening. So don't count on the unblocking when you're like, okay, God, I'm ready. Like,
I'm ready. Deliver me a baby.
It just might not happen. And it's sad because, I really wish I could have that experience. But I have to be positive and know it's for a greater reason and just, it is what it is.
And wait, Maria, where are you guys? Do you guys want to be parents? Is that something that you guys want?
Yeah. I mean, I'm still petrified, but I want it. And Kevin is just like, I want to start our own family so bad. And so, in fact, before all of this quarantining stuff, like right in the beginning of March, we found a surrogate match. And we were so excited. We're like, yes, I put the money in the bank.
God.
We were moving forward. Things were happening. And then whoop, it was like the surrogate was going to go get tested in like a week. And then everything shut down. So we are delayed in our process. However, we'll pick it back up at some point. I mean,
for sure.
I feel like I've been in the surrogate process for so long.
That's a major thing because people don't realize it's not easy to find that's not easy. That's like years long journey for some people.
Oh yeah,
so
for sure.
You're already, that's a big step. Congratulations. That's really wonderful.
Thank you. So before I let you guys go, because now like time is just already passed, I want to ask you, Perez, and I was already talking to Liliana about this. How do you see entertainment changing?
How do I see entertainment changing? Oh, good question. I thought I had the answer, but I don't know now because this whole thing that we're going through has changed everything. For example, there was that $1 billion launch recently of Quibi, which is short form content. And the launch has been a disaster.
Has it been?
Has it really?
Yeah, it has not been successful whatsoever. People are not watching the programming on Quibi. They're not downloading the app. They're not downloading it because I think people want to watch stuff on their television or they just want longer form content. So I'm not sure that short is the future. If anything, this that we're doing right now and podcasts show that I think really what has happened and will continue to happen is niche. The future of entertainment is niche.
We talk about it every day at AfterBuzz, Perez. You're so right on. And I'm not saying it because I want to feel right on, but that's where we've seen results is niche too.
Right. And you guys have been doing that, Maria, for ever. I mean, this
Yeah.
is what you do. You specialize. Your hosts are true specialists in that one show, and
Yeah.
you can see their passion when they talk about it
Yeah.
because it's that fandom play, right? Fans want to connect to other fans.
Yep.
They want specialists, not generalists.
Exactly. Perez, take it back.
Yeah, well, I'm excited for the future because I I still love what I do. And, one of the great things about what we do is, you know, people know you, Maria, and people may know me too, but at the end of the day, it's not like they're ravenous to know every detail about our personal lives. We are conduits for the celebrities. And what's great is as the years go by, the celebrities change. So, now maybe talking about Charlie D'Amelio, who's this TikTok star that's huge with a different demographic, but I, they keep us young and they keep us relevant and they keep us employed. So I'm so thankful for these celebrities. And I'm thankful that I'm still learning and growing. And even though I'm not perfect and I still make mistakes, I think I'm doing things better than I was in the past. And that's the whole goal, right? Like I compare my job all these years later to that of a professional surfer. It's about getting out there every day and not knowing what you're going to get. Some days you're going to have big waves. Some days you're going to have small waves. It's about really just loving surfing and getting better at it as the years go by.
Wow, I like that.
I like that.
It is about getting better every day. And as I always say, we are better together, guys.
I believe it.
We sure are.
Well, this was so much fun. I started out with a not fun morning, and I'm so in such a better place because we just got to have a really amazing conversation. And I want to ask you guys my kind of final question I ask everybody on this show. What are you doing to get better every day? And we'll start with Lilliana.
For me, it's problem solving. I am like a puzzle person. So one thing that really gets me going, gets me feeling really confident is when I can problem solve. And some days it's just like, what is the best system to organize my skincare in my bathroom? And other days it's like, how do I learn to key out a chroma key in my makeshift studio so that I can send them a sample video of what I want to do on TikTok? So for me, it's problem solving because it has a beginning, a middle, and an end. And I like to complete things. Like that pushes me. So I problem solve.
Perez?
I would say, usually I get it all done. I am an overachiever. But during this time of crisis, I have been failing. And I think that's not an awful word. I think it's good to acknowledge that, to own it, and to ask for help. And I did that. This week, it took me 5 weeks to acknowledge that I've been failing, but 5 weeks later, I emailed my kids' school and I was like, listen, I don't have the bandwidth, I don't have the skill set, this is not working for me. What can we do? And the teachers were very helpful and they're like, all right, let's figure out things that your kids can do on their own, and they may not be able to do this, they may not be able to do that, and that's okay. At the end of the day, I wish they would have told me this 5 weeks ago. At the end of the day, they were like, it's all optional, really. I'm like, what? It's all optional? Why didn't you tell me that 5 weeks ago?
You're like, I'm an overachiever, and now I feel like such a failure every day I've suffered.
I just hope and pray that we can go back to somewhat normal schooling in the fall, or else parents everywhere are going to just like truly lose it.
I know.
I don't know how you can be a working parent and homeschool at the same time. It's not realistic.
You know what?
Yeah.
I think that my little breakdown at the beginning of the show, being a caretaker for my mom and my dad, truly, but my dad is obviously much more self-sufficient, is not very different. I mean, there's a life-threatening illness attached to it, but it's not very different than the struggle of the everyday parent at home that is trying to take care of everything. And it's just so frustrating when you feel like you're failing. And it's so frustrating when you feel like you're a capable human and now you're incapable. And so, yeah, I think, I viewed it through the lens of I'm caretaking for someone who's got a life-threatening illness, and it's so hard and whatever. but it's not that different. So I feel like a little less alone all of a sudden.
I started taking CBD gummies,
Oh my
which I've
God.
found helpful.
I
Not
took 2 last night. No
Hey,
lie.
hey. And honestly, I'm like, wow, this actually has really been helping me. So
Yep.
I'm now a fan of the CBD gummies.
So
So
Perez,
You
let
were
me
a
tell
fan
you.
of the
Let me tell you
gummies?
about my favorite brand I got in
Oh,
Connecticut. They're called Hemp Buddies, I think.
ooh, have them send me some. I'm all about it.
No, I just ordered them online because I
What?
found
You
them on a
ordered them? You gave them the plug right now. They better send you a whole box.
I know. So I found them in Connecticut driving on Route 6 to Providence one day. And I stopped over. It was a little store. It had the little cross. And I was like, oh, this is interesting. It was a really cute store. I bought them. They're little Sour Patch gummies, basically. And they're friggin' delicious. And there's just a little teeny amount of CBD. And so last
Yeah.
night, I hadn't slept the whole night before. And I tried to nap in the day and I did a little bit, but not enough. So I was like, I'm knocking myself out. I normally would only have one if I take it. I was like, going big. I had 2 and I got a great night's sleep. That's why I thought everything was going to be amazing today. And then I got slapped in the face with all this stuff. But yeah, the CBD gummies, not going to lie, they are helpful.
they're pretty good.
So funny. Were you going to suggest something, Liliana?
Yeah, I actually haven't been doing the gummies. I do the drops.
Oh, yeah.
Those I feel like just like right under the tongue, like an hour before I want to go to sleep. And like, it's really like a savior. I'm not going to lie. Like,
Yeah.
and I'm a good sleeper, but I can like, I don't sleep well. Like I can fall asleep, but I can't stay asleep.
Me
and sleep
too.
well.
I wake up all night
all
long.
the time. So,
And I always have back pain and like neck pain. I'm like, wah. So anyhow, this was so much fun. You guys will have to do it again.
Love to.
And Perez, I do hope for you and everyone else that school can resume safely for everybody so that parents don't lose their minds. I literally walked outside today and I told Kevin, I'm like, it's not good. So I can only imagine what parents dealing with. Again, it's the same thing, like little kids who don't really know, what's happening. It's, oh man,
Yeah.
forget it. So thank you guys for joining. Of course,
Thank you.
E-News airs at 7 a.m. Eastern on E. And then Pop of the Morning is on hiatus for now. But that will be
now.
coming back at some point. If you want to watch this digitally, you can probably catch episodes on YouTube, right?
Yeah, so you can catch E-News on YouTube, and then you can catch E-News on Peacock in the mornings as well, if you've got Peacock.
Got it.
We're trying to come at you from every which direction we can, and we will be back, and we will be back better and bigger than ever. So thank you for having me, Maria. And Paris, Paris, it was wonderful to meet you.
I wonder,
too.
I don't know who's still there from anybody that I was there with, but if there is anybody, tell them I say hello. But also, I think that what I saw of the show for the time it was at 30 Rock, I got to see an episode. It was beautiful and they're doing such a great job with it. So congrats. You ever need anything, advice, help, whatever, you have me. I'm here. And Perez, of course, if you want to stay up to date with your endeavors, I mean, everybody kind of knows where to find you, but what else, what else can we promote for you?
Well, I've written an autobiography. So if you guys are yearning for that 2007 year in the early 2000s, you can order your copy right now at perezhiltonbook.com. That's perezhiltonbook.com.
Oh my goodness. I am very interested in reading that.
I am too. I want to go back to 2007. I'm having a nostalgia moment. I'm very excited about this.
I've got a lot of stories to share. And, the great thing about, I was reading that one of these teen moms came out with an autobiography, which I'm like, all right, cool, whatever. Maybe teen mom fans will want to buy it. But my memoir is filled with like real celebrities, and a lot of them. Tons of them, all of them.
You were the king and you still are. And so you definitely have all the good stories. I'm definitely ordering that immediately. And then hopefully we'll have you back on and we can talk about that.
Yeah, I would love to. And hopefully the Wi-Fi will be better.
I know. Thank you guys so much. Have a great day and we'll talk soon.
Bye.
Bye.
Well, that was so much fun. Jeff can't hear you. You got to unmute yourself.
Oh, I'm muted?
There you are.
Okay. Yeah, 2 just balls of light. I'm really excited for Lilliana.
Yeah, I think it was really cool. In the meantime, let's plug one more thing because I did mention that I was doing a satellite media tour yesterday. It was for the Beverly Hills Dog Show presented by Purina. We shot this back in February before quarantining was a thing, before social distancing was even a label of any kind. It's interesting. I look back at that day and it was literally like a couple days later that all of a sudden we knew that there was something called the coronavirus and that it was coming for us. And so the Beverly Hills Dog Show will be a much needed escape, I think, for all of us to champion our favorite breed, watch it with our families and our pets. If you do watch it with your family and your pets, take a picture and social it out and tag me so that I can be with you guys and we can share our love for our dogs, and it'll be a lot of fun. I'm excited to watch it with my mom. If you haven't already, comment, please rate, subscribe, tell a friend about the show. We still have our Tony Robbins giveaway for a free UPW seminar and training with one of his coaches. So the campaign closes this Thursday, but you're still eligible. Just write a quick iTunes review and put your Instagram handle on there. If you've already written a review, you can just email us at bettertogetherwithmaria@gmail.com. You can follow us at Maria Menounos, at Perez Hilton, at Lilliana Vazquez, at Stephen Lemieux Photo, at Jeff Crane Graham. I'm off to get a Bud Light. In the meantime, be nice people, make good choices, and be present.